I've made some discoveries in my own personal life with the science that, Pythagoras was searching for. I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue, walking on water for tips when I've got an entire generation to teach a whole new world?
Verbal or life.
Okay, Terrence Howard, he's talking about he found like some new science and found some new facts that we were not aware of, like the science community was not aware of. But I don't know. We're gonna take a look at a video that talks about it, and just thinking about Terrence Howard, a famous actor who's been doing this since he was a little kid and acting and pretending. So it's a little bit skeptical. All right, I want you to take a look at this video and let me know what you think, because right now I'm putting him in doubt. Check it out.
Well, obviously Terrence Howard, he's had an awakening of some sort. So hats off to the brother for that. Because first of all, it takes a lot of courage to even come out in such a mass setting like that, on a big stage, on your own platform, and then say, hey, this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm stepping back. I think he made even a reference to the fact that, why am I going to perform on stage for tips when I could be tapping into this unlimited source of magic, so to speak, is what he's really trying to say. And he dropped a lot of information in a very short period of time and may not have been able to exactly articulate specifically what everything he said meant.
I've made some discoveries in my own personal life with the science that, Pythagoras was searching for. I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue, walking on water for tips when I've got an entire generation to teach a whole new world? Well, let me put it this way. All energy in the universe is expressed in motion. All motion is expressed in waves. All waves are curved. So where does the straight lines come from to make the platonic solids? There are no straight lines. So when I took the flower of life and opened it properly, I found a whole new wave conjugations that expose the in-between spaces. It's the thing that holds us all together.
Wondering how the universe really came to be. And I fell in love with this thing called the flower of life. You guys know Da Vinci? Do you know what he spent most of his life trying to figure out? I want you guys to know about a 6,000-year-old secret. 6,000 years, mankind has been trying to decipher this one little thing called the flower of life. Now, this is one of the oldest symbols in human history, right?
Okay, at this point, I think that Terrence Howard is auditioning for a role. He's trying to get a part in the movie, and he's talking like this so people can believe him. Because that's the whole role of a movie actor, is to convince the audience. Because any new technology that he may have, then it should be used by science, and the government will be getting a hold of it. So let's see what other facts he got.
Symbol was found in the Temple of Osiris in Egypt, and it had been molecularly burned into the wall. And it's 6,000 years old. This same symbol has been found in the forbidden temples in China, sitting under the fufu dogs, and the foot on it, the flower of life, saying whoever controlled that flower of life controlled the universe. There were secrets in that flower of life that Da Vinci spent his whole life trying to uncover. There were secrets in that flower of life that Newton spent his whole life in secret trying to uncover. The same secrets that Pythagoras was desperately trying to uncover. But their problem was they kept seeing this in a two-dimensional space. They couldn't get it out of this two-dimensional frame. And as a result, they got stuck in this plane, a flat plane. Now, what Da Vinci and all of them wanted to do, they were trying to find a way to bring this flower to life, because what is inside of it? Well, apparently, there were secrets inside of it. Shapes, they got the Merkaba and all of those other things out of it. But they were misled by something I think called a straight line. You guys believe in straight lines? You believe there's straight lines in the universe? Well, let me hit you with something. All energy in the universe is expressed in what? It's in motion. If something is still, there's no energy. Kinetic, right? All motion is expressed in what? You look at galaxies, are they expressed in straight lines? Expressed in vortices. All vortices are expressed in what? Waves. All waves are curved.
You know, I wonder what movie is he auditioning for? Because he's just spitting out facts that I don't think anybody's gonna research and make use of it. They're just gonna take his word for it, especially the way he talks. He sounds very convincing. I'm not convinced that this man is dropping facts. But again, I can't look away from the fact that this is an actor since he was a child. He's been auditioning and acting in different movies. Let's see what else he got.
Show me a straight line in nature. You show me where the platonic solids come from. Where do they have their foundations in our universe? Are there any straight lines? If you look at anything, there are no straight lines. That's been the mistake. We've been looking at these straight lines, this Euclidean way of thinking, and missing the curvature of nature. So here we are, back with the curvature of nature. And you have all these little pieces. Now, this has always been an information system. So compare some of these points, take a point here, and say, well, what's the space in between all of these things? Now, they've said that all the in-between spaces, if this is the Earth and this is the moon right here, all this in-between space is filled with what? A void. There's nothing in the void. Well, I found that there is something in the void.
Being able to define the entire electric field, plasmic field.
Look at his hair. I mean, there's man as a character, and he always been this way, always getting these funny looking haircuts. Like the man is super creative, and he expresses it in his style when he goes out. And look at this. I mean, he moved on from that style to just getting a shaved head, but again, just putting together a mask, a persona, and then having people believe it. Number one goal. Let's see what he's talking about now.
And patent it. And the things that I discovered with that prove that the platonic solids, which our entire infrastructure is built off, were only averages and approximations, and that all of the postulates and axioms they've built off of are erroneous. And being able to present that, but also being given the blessing of defining the magnetic field, the feminine side, and patenting those, the expansion or the unfolding of the universe, but then being given the opportunity to define the neutral that sits between it, or the Constitution, which is the linchpin that mitigates between the micro, which is the electric world, and the macro, which is the magnetic world. And this works as a bridge, a common factor between. So having discovered and patented the...
Who is that he's talking to? It says Terry Howard does the unthinkable. If I'm right, hand over your accreditations.
Grand unified field equation. And putting it into practice and building all of these new industries that have come from it, from transcendental lighting to tangential flight, to in supersymmetrical systems. I've patented 4 supersymmetrical systems. And a supersymmetrical system is, it always aligns. That's how the universe behaves. And according to science, there are no supersymmetrical systems, because the platonic solids have a thing called discrete symmetry. And for everybody out, the platonic solids were 5 polygons that are based upon straight lines and flat planes. And they're the tetrahedron, the hexahedron or the cube, the octahedron, the dodecahedron, and the icosahedron. Now, for millennia, since the days of Pythagoras and the days of...
I wonder who drew these images for him, because at the end of the day, the hell is he talking about?
Plato. These were the undisputed fundamentals of God, and they said that they pulled it out of the flower of life.
Well, referencing the flower of life, which, if you don't know what that is, anybody out there, It's a sacred geometrical figure, and it really goes back to as above, so below. If you're looking at, for example, just when you start off with the ovum with an egg, that's one sphere. And by the time you add 6 more interconnecting spheres, you now have a seed. You have a seed of life. Then, so it goes from a seed to a fruit to a flower. So it's really a progression of life. And at the base of everyone's spine are a group of cells that are in the form of the flower of life. And those almost all organic, especially mammalian species, there's this flower of life cellular formation in the base of the spine.
It almost feels like whatever you want to find or whatever you look for, you can find, right? You look hard enough with an image or with an idea in mind, you can actually find it in the real world. But they're doing it kind of backwards. They have the idea first and then they just look to see where to find it. I don't know.
And it's there from the time you're born and stays there until you die. But that's just a representation in a biological life form. Because as above, so below. When you go into the next level, where we're talking about the ether of space-time itself, this is where he was kind of really getting deep with it. He discovered, when he unwrapped the flower of life, he discovered the energy grid, the grid that binds us all together. There is a grid that we're actually on. And when he's talking about the spheres, there are no straight lines. He's not saying that platonic solids don't exist. Platonic solids are part of the holographic matrix. Behind all of that, the only thing that does exist are electromagnetic waves. That's all, and there are no straight lines. So, but
hold on, holographic nature. So it's all a hologram that comes out of this.
Behind the quantum holographic universe, behind that, there is nothing but electromagnetic waves, and those waves are propagating and being sent into this realm, into this dimension, carrying energy, frequency, vibration. And when they interact with conscious thought, that's when they collapse things into platonic solids, which then collapse things into what we get as an illusion of solidity, an illusion of locality, an illusion of space and differentiation, an illusion of perception. There's really only one true thing that does exist outside of what we consider to be the third dimension is consciousness. And so consciousness literally has divided itself into trillions and trillions of entities throughout this entire universe. And the method that it emanates from is through something called the vesica piscis. Now, the vesica piscis is actually part of the flower of life. So where you have the
Not vesica piscis. Why does it feel like they're making up words here? What are they doing? They're making us now look into a dictionary, see what the hell are they talking about? Again, this man is an award-winning actor, and look how he got this other gentleman here. I gotta get his name. Talking science, like deep, like what he's saying is crazy. But making up words like this is just too funny.
intersecting circles in the flower of life, that is those in every one of those intersections is a womb. So at every single Planck unit in space-time, which is the smallest amount of distance you can measure, and time you can measure in space-time, all around us, all through us, and everywhere that that exists, is this flower of life. I mean, everywhere. Now, every single spot where the flower of life is located, there's also the intersections, and those intersections are the vesica piscis. Now, the vesica piscis emanates energy into the third dimension. Out of the vesica piscis is literally a womb, just like when you cut open a lemon, cut open an orange, cut open a grapefruit. Obviously, a human being is born through a womb. Life primarily comes through wombs. And this is why even in the biblical text, they reference the matrix. The
Life comes through the vesica piscis, or whatever the hell he said.
matrix means the womb. So it's mentioned, I think, 5 or 6 times in the modern day Bible itself, which is copied from more ancient texts. But the name, the Matrix for the movie, didn't come from somebody's brain. They just made it all sound, we'll make it the Matrix. No, the term the Matrix actually comes from the Bible. And what it says is that in order for a man to be born, he must exit the matrix, and that he must come out of the womb. In order for any life forms to form in this third dimension, it must come through the womb. And this,
I think he wrote a book, because you could write a book with all the idea that this man is putting together. It says Billy Carson speaks to Terrence Howard's quitting acting, opening the flower of life. He wrote a book about this. This is crazy.
Energetic grid that's created by this sacred geometrical figure called the flower of life literally connects every single one of us. We are all literally sitting on this grid. It's this invisible grid that we're on. This is why quantum entanglement works. It's because we're all in that same energetic grid that is created by this flower of life. So, if I take two particles or even two photons, and I utilize a laser to do something called parabolic down conversion and get them on the same frequency, I can take one of those particles to the other end of the universe, and I could change the information on the one that's local to me, and the other one of the other end of the universe will change instantaneously, bypassing the speed of light. How is that possible? It's because we're on this flower of life matrix grid, and everything literally is connected, and distance is even an illusion. So we are really living in a fractal holographic universe. And what he was trying to say is that the projection from this flower of life creates this illusion that we're operating and living in. And it doesn't mean that we're not real, but what it means is the mechanism used to create this third dimensional illusion comes and emanates, the energy emanates through that flower of life from the vesica piscis into this dimension, and along with then consciousness intervention helps slow down the frequency and vibration of the electromagnetic wave.
So again, Terrence Howard is a great actor, and he must be auditioning for maybe the Matrix Part 6. I think they already got 5 Matrices. So maybe a new Matrices for this year, for 2024, because the hell this man just said a whole bunch of words, a whole bunch of ideas that even if you research, you're just going to be wasting your time. I mean, let's see what's the conclusion that this guy's going to get to. That's what I'm wondering.
Waves, which then give us the illusion that things are solid, and things have matter, things have substance, things have distance, locality, and everything else. So it's really amazing. I mean, this is an amazing, I don't call it an experiment, but it's almost like we're living inside of an experiment or a creation, just like all the ancient texts have said. For what purpose to an end? I think that the main reason why we're here is to collect information and data, because it as above, so below. So if you take it from the below standpoint, from the human brain, encased in darkness, doesn't know what's going on the outside, says to his friends, all its 5 senses, hearing, smell, seeing, touch, and everything, go out there and tell me what's going on. The friends go out and collect information, bits of data. They themselves don't know exactly what they are collecting. They're just collecting information from the outside. They can't decipher it. They bring it back to the brain, which is encased in total darkness, and say, here's the data. And the brain wants to then figure out what's going on. Then it projects a hologram as to what it thinks is going on outside, and you navigate through the matrix that way. Now, you take it to the larger scale, above, the universe itself is consciousness, okay? And what has it done? It literally has divided itself into trillions of entities, and now we're one of those. We're out here collecting bits of information as we live through our life, as we navigate through this matrix, and we send that data as a stream directly back to source, so that it can experience itself subjectively from every different perspective in the third dimension. And all of this, to me, in my personal opinion, is emanating the energy that comes into this dimension to create all of this, is emanating through this flower of life, which...
You know what I'm thinking? This is elite thinking. You know, when you have enough money to do and think whatever you want and just imagine the world because you have no other issues to worry about. To me, this is what it sounds like. They are really just playing around. And ultimately, again, this sounds like a script, like they're really working towards an idea to play into a movie. So Terrence Howard will convince anybody into anything because he has the power to do so. He's into, what is that called? Creative arts. So the man is a creative artist who just making this up. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. Let's finish this video.
All these electromagnetic waves, this dark energy and dark matter, which is not just because it's dark, we gave it the name dark. It's just out of our frequency of vision. It's an actual wave. All electromagnetic waves are all made up light, even if you can't see them. So that's kind of what it was hitting on, man. Some really deep stuff.
I predict that in a few years, maybe month, Terrence Howard's going to come out and just laugh. You know what? No, I'm going to say this. By January 2025, next year, Terrence Howard's going to just come out and say it. I was just doing a movie role. I was just I'm auditioning and putting my ideas out there because he could do that. He convinced us of all those characters that he played. And he knows how to do it. He knows how to talk. Okay? He knows how to memorize the script. He knows his line and know what to say and what's his position, what his spot. So I really don't believe him, all these ideas that he just put out there. Because if they had any value, if his idea had any value, he will be able to sell them. And then somebody will put it to use. Because they sound deep. You know, they sound crazy. Out. But if you're listening, thank you for joining me at Verbal on Life. My name is Noel, battling MS. So if you subscribe, thank you to all my subscribers. Let's keep pushing. The trick to life is never to give up. So let's go. We got this.
Verbal or life.